Here's what we're going to do with Rustin's bracket first. We're going to go game by game through it. He's going to give us what he thinks is going to happen. So, Rustin, reveal game by game your winner. We'll start at the top of each column and go down.
All right. Clemson doesn't belong, shouldn't have even be in the tournament, so that's Texas. So honestly, I think it will be a close game between Tennessee and Ohio State. I think it's a 50-50 game. I think it's a coin toss. I think it will come down to who has the ball last. I think whichever defense or special teams produces points is probably the team that will win. And our defense has shown a propensity to step up in big moments. I think Tennessee's going to win. I think it's going to be a tight game. I could easily see Ohio State winning. I don't like the matchup. But I think Tennessee wins a close one, especially if we have the ball last. Again, SMU, the ACC has no business being in the postseason. They're the fourth best conference in the country. And if you took Boise State and threw them in the ACC, they'd win it too. So you could make a case the Mountain West is better. So, that's going to be Penn State in a landslide. Notre Dame's going to boat race Indiana because Indiana probably shouldn't be in there either. They have the weakest schedule in America. Love Kurt Cignetti, but
Texas and after this game, you'll go up to Texas, Arizona.
Yeah, love Kurt Cignetti. I think he's a great coach, but they overachieved against a very below mediocre schedule. Huge Kenny Dillingham fan. Love what he's doing at Arizona State, but he just lost his best receiver for the rest of the season. That one receiver had more receptions than the entire rest of the team combined. You can get away with that against Iowa State. You can't get away with that against Texas. So that'll be Texas in a rout. This is where I think our season ends. We have to go on the road to Ohio State. Yes, round 2 is a neutral site game, but it's essentially going to be a home game for Oregon. It's at the Rose Bowl. We're going to have to go to the other side of the country. I don't like that one at all. It's hard to go across the country and play football. So Oregon has a short flight to the Rose Bowl. This is going to be, their fans are going to probably outnumber ours significantly. I don't have a good feeling about that game. The next one will probably surprise people. I think a good running game can beat Penn State, and Ashton Jeanty has proven that he can produce a good running game. So I actually have Boise beating Penn State there. Have Georgia beating Notre Dame. I don't care who plays quarterback. I think either Gunnar Stockton or an injured Carson Beck. Either way, Georgia has too many horses. Sark, his magic runs out here. I like Oregon against Texas there, so I'm assuming they'll assign them to the Orange Bowl so that Texas doesn't get to play in the Cotton Bowl. But if for some reason the NCAA screws up again and assigns that one the Cotton Bowl and Texas gets a home game there, I might be open to changing that winner. Georgia's going to beat Boise again, just too many horses. And to start the season, I picked Georgia to win the national championship. So I'm going to ride with what I said at the beginning. I think they have a fantastic coaching staff. I think Mike Bobo does a great job figuring out how to make use of what he has. I don't think the injuries will matter for them. I think they're so deep, they just reload at the positions they need to. And I got Georgia winning the national championship, as I said back in August.
In a total blowout, Texas is going to destroy Clemson. And there's a reason why Tennessee-Ohio State is the 8 o'clock ABC game. Because of those first 4 games, this one will by far and away be the best game. So this is going to be surprising to people. I am more concerned about the Ohio State game playing at Ohio State at night with a desperate Ryan Day than I am a neutral site against Oregon because Oregon's run defense is not good. Tennessee will have to play their absolute best game of the season to beat Ohio State. in Ohio State at night. Their receivers are going to have to catch the ball in cold weather. I do think the weather will have somewhat of an impact. But here's the thing. The game is won in the trenches. Bottom line. Tennessee's offensive line just played their best game of the season in their most recent game. We know who Tennessee's 5 starters on the offensive line. We know who they are. 4 of them are 5th and 6th year seniors. We know what Tennessee has on the defensive line. We also know that Ohio State currently doesn't know who their 5 starting offensive linemen are going to be. Football, when it boils down to it, is won in the trenches. Period. End of story. You look at this game and you look at the trenches, that means Tennessee's going to win the game. I think it is literally a 1-point game, probably. And whoever has the ball last wins. I think that's going to be that kind of game. So I do think Tennessee wins, but my, oh my, what a close one. SMU, Penn State. I think Penn State might be the most overrated team in the country, but they played well against Oregon last night. Because I don't think Oregon's as dominant as everybody. I mean, there is no dominant team this year. There's just not. And that's why this is going to be such a fun tournament. There's not a single team that you can look at and be like, yeah, they're better than everybody else on any day, any given day, anywhere. That team's the best team to step on the field. There's nobody like that in this year's tournament. Texas and Tennessee, their defenses will have them in any game they play in. Georgia's defense will have them in any game they play in. Ohio State's defense will have them in any game they play in. Oregon doesn't have that luxury. Oregon's offense will have them play in any game that they're playing in. They'll have them in a game. But I mean, Oregon's defense gave up 297 rushing yards to Penn State last night. 297. That is essentially 21 points worth of rushing. You make it 300 yards. That's going down the field 3 times. That's essentially 21 points just rushing the ball. That is not a good scenario for Oregon, in my opinion. So Penn State, SMU, Penn State wins the game. Indiana, Notre Dame. All right, so here's the deal. This is new territory for football. We know in college basketball, there's always one upset. Always. At least one in every bracket, in every region of the bracket. This 7-10 matchup, it's going to be every year. It's probably going to be maybe an upset special. I think you got to find one upset somewhere in the bracket. I think this is an upset. Indiana takes down Notre Dame. And Kurt Signetti brags on himself on national television for 20 minutes. I think that's what's going to happen. My favorite quote about Kirk Signetti this year was on game day, and I think it was Herb Street said, Kirk Signetti is supremely confident in Kirk Signetti. It's like, yep, that's a good statement. So Texas, Arizona State. Arizona State has no chance. It's Texas, Tennessee, Oregon. So here's the deal. I told you, I'm saying it. I said it a minute ago. I'm going to say it again. I'm more concerned about going to Ohio State at night than I am Oregon in a homecoming for Nico Iamaleava. I think the way Tennessee runs the football, everybody's like, oh, Tennessee's a gimmick offense. Tennessee's a gimmick offense. Okay, Tennessee just had their leading rusher break the all-time single-season rushing record. He led the SEC in rushing yards, and he broke a 100-year-old touchdown record. Clearly, Tennessee doesn't just throw the ball. Clearly, they run it extremely well. And so, because of that, I think Tennessee beats Oregon in a neutral site. And so we got Tennessee playing Texas in the semifinals. Penn State, Boise State, I think it's a close game. I really do, but I think Penn State wins by like 3 points. Indiana, Georgia dominates them. And so then you got Texas, Tennessee, and unfortunately, I think this is where Tennessee season ends. I think they make it to the semifinals, and unfortunately, Texas's defense, Tennessee finally plays a team that can equal their defense. And I think Texas beats Tennessee in the semifinals. Georgia dominates Penn State. And then for the third time this season, Texas plays Georgia. And I'll tell you, it's hard to beat a team twice. Well, I'm guessing it's almost near impossible to beat a team 3 times. And so I'm going to say Texas beats Georgia to win the national championship.